along to the Property Investor Show Autumn 2014, and I'm delighted to be joined by Jax Kneppers, the founder of Imfuna. So welcome, Jax. Always good to see you.
Great to be here, Vanessa. Good to see you too.
Thank you. Now, for 3 years, Imfuna has really been banging the drum about how efficient it is to defragment information and collate it all in one place, and that message is finally beginning to get through now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We've been preaching. Hopefully not to preach alike, but we have seen a lot of traction and growth. Mm-hmm. I think the digital era is really beginning to show. We're getting a lot of users here in the UK, mm-hmm. and people are starting to see the advantage of a digital inventory, mm-hmm. the ability to capture data in an organized way, do it once, do it correctly, and then begin to use that data in a meaningful way. For example, the inventory process, mm-hmm. then taking it through to the check-in, the check-out, to the midterms, and being able to use that data and capture it without having to go back and reinvent the wheel every single time.
Right, because the other important thing is that once you have data captured, you can integrate it into other systems and processes.
We've seen a very strong development in that direction. People are looking for a single solution, mm-hmm. so the ability to do an inventory, to be able to capture that data into their property management system, and to be able to create work orders from items that need fixing, for example. That's become very important. So you have this seamless experience and very, very good data to rely on.
And I think also the timing is very good from the perspective of all the regulation that's coming into the private rented sector, because that's very much about raising standards. And the wonderful thing about an inventory is that it protects the tenant, the landlord, and the property. And the more people are understanding the benefits of using it, then the more people are going to make sure that they have that covered.
Yes, I think also we've been talking obviously with the deposit schemes, mm-hmm. To make sure that this data, the integrity of the data, will withstand the scrutiny of where you get these kind of disputes.
Yes.
And the goal, of course, is transparency.
Yes.
The goal is the landlord, the tenant need to feel that they are getting a fair view and a fair start and a fair finish.
Yes.
And that can be done, of course, if you have data that supports that and makes this whole process very fair and transparent.
Indeed, and starting the tenancy off on the right foot is a sure way to ensure that problems don't appear later down the line. So, in fact, that's a nice lead into some of the features that you've been developing on Imfuna. One of the things that you've got is a kind of automatic adjudication report generation.
Yes, so we've been working with the independent schemes and for the adjudication process, and we've realized how important it is, the clearness or the clarity of data. So what was the condition at the beginning, what was the condition at the end, and what is going to be done about it. So we have created in our app, in Imfuna, that you can do a check-in type inspection, and then you can continuously update your record by having the ability on the mobile device of pulling down your previous inspection, going back and doing an update. And of course, with a checkout, you can put the two side by side. So now you have a really clear and accurate record of what was there at the beginning, what was there at the end. And to the extent there are problems or deficiencies, you can generate a report. Instead of an inventory report, you can generate an arbitration or a dispute report, which will pull together all the items that focus on where the problems are and will allow the adjudicator very quickly and efficiently to find those.
Well, I'm hoping that the tenancy deposit schemes actually create a fast track for digital inventories for their disputes, because clearly the evidence is much better than a little bit of paper with loads of different notes on it, which is somewhat what some people actually submit in a report. But the other really cool thing about Imfuna is you've got now a device that can draw on photographs and actually point out sort of marks on the wall, holes in the carpet. I love that.
Yeah, so what we can do is we can take a look at this idea of a compare, and then the ability to be able to mark up where, for example, there are problems. It'll help highlight. And so maybe we'll take a look at this. And this is our splash screen where you go in, and I've opened up a dummy property. I have a roof inspection here for purpose of this demonstration. On the left side is our previous inspection. I've synced that down from the server onto the mobile device. So in the field, I can now see what was documented at one point in time. I can now say, well, I think that record is fine. I'm not going to change it. Or I can say something has changed and I want to add data to it. So now I can take a photograph, for example, here, I'll just give an example, and now I have a photograph of the new condition. I'm going to use that photograph, but I would like to be able to show that something has changed or there's damages.
There's a big stain there.
Yes. So I'm going to hit the little button here. I'm going to pick a color. I'm going to pick yellow, and I'm going to say draw a big circle. Then I'm going to say stain. And so when I create a report, it's now very clear to the user and to the adjudicator what it is I'm focusing on. I'm going to save that as a copy, and here I have the original photo, and when I go back in my file, I have now the saved copy in my file.
That is just absolutely awesome, Jax. I absolutely love it. And great to see Imfuna gaining traction in the UK, and thank you very much for talking to us at Property Tribes and for your support of Property Tribes as well.
That's great, but it's always great to see you.
Thank you.